My name is Ken Smith. I fly captain on several different business jets, one of which is a Citation. And just wanted to relate to you a little story from the past, but before I do that, a bit of history. I've been flying now for 45 years. Began back in Air Force days in the late 60s, early 70s. I flew as a flight instructor in the Air Force back during the Vietnam era. A lot of training, learned to fly by the numbers, learned to fly specifically, and it just was a great opportunity there to learn and also to teach. In light of that, I'd like to relate a story to you of something that happened recently. I had a flight from the Central Florida area up to the Northeast in a Citation jet. 8 passengers on board, one of which was an elderly gent who had recently had heart surgery, if you will, a stent placed, and it just required that the pressurization in the cabin was such that he didn't exceed 6,000 feet cabin pressure. About an hour into the flight, at 33,000 feet, we had a pop and a rushing air noise, if you will, from the cabin door. The cabin rate of climb indicator pegged at 6,000 feet a minute, and we were experiencing a rapid decompression. You have about 30 seconds of useful consciousness at 33,000 feet, after which you go unconscious, and then after several minutes at that altitude, you perish. There's a surprise part of this where, having never had it happen before, you first say, nah, not happening, but then you look down at the cabin rate of climb indicator and you're pegged at 6,000 feet a minute. All of a sudden you've maybe burned up 3 or 4 seconds, but you remember that first item on the emergency boldface items that you remember is get your oxygen mask on. As you'll recall, a number of years ago, a professional golfer was in an airplane, experienced something similar to this, and the crew didn't react perhaps quite quick enough, and as a result, oxygen wasn't supplied and everyone perished. So it's important to be getting down, especially when you have an elderly gent in the cabin that requires that oxygen. So we started down, emergency descent, made an emergency recovery landing, trying to get him down below 6,000 feet as soon as possible. Once the airplane was established in the dive, if you will, to get down quickly, looked around, checked the passengers, he was doing all right. And of course, all of the masks had automatically dropped, and we call it a rubber jungle. It was a mess back there, but the folks had the masks on, and everything was fine. I was able to get all the folks off the airplane and into the terminal. And then I started replaying the tape in my mind of, okay, did I do everything correctly? What could I have done better? And what were my takeaways from this? In critiquing, everything went pretty well. It was by the numbers, but then again, having never experienced it before, could have been a little smoother, but the outcome was good. Training, training, training. Important to be able to know what to do and then to be able to apply it. That's the important part. Once I had everyone in the terminal and started playing that tape, the main thing I believe that came back to me was, thank you, Lord. Thank you. Thank you for a clear mind to think with. Thank you for caring, loving, protecting, working your angels perhaps a little bit harder than they should have for that last 15 minutes of craziness. And it all came true, but all the training also came true and came to fruition. And that's my story.